all things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
The real key here is this 59% of Haley voters who say that they would not vote for Donald Trump should he become the nominee. That tracks with about 24% of the Republican Party, which is right along the lines of what that New York Times Siena poll showed us almost a year ago now, in terms of the makeup of the Republican Party, in which there was about 25% of Republicans who say that they are never Trumpers.
Yeah. So, this is another sign that he can't win, okay? This is another sign, in between the midterm elections where they lose seats, in between this last few special elections that we saw, George Santos' seat, for instance, was held by a Republican, went to a Democrat, a guy who had already been there, Tom Suozzi, had already been the Democratic representative from Long Island, from my old neck of the woods. And he won again because there was no good option for people there. So they said, all right, well, then I'll send him back. I mean, but these are all signs, right? Now you look at what the exit polls show. Exit polls are good polls. You know why I like them? Because people have already done the thing that you're polling them about, trying to predict what they will do. Well, they've already done it. They've just done it. So exit polls are asking people, like who did you vote for? But, you don't have to answer. It's not like if Trump won and you had to answer. Now it's paper. It will be like that. It actually will be like that. But now it's not. So you don't really have to say. So people are, they're willing to say, and they're saying, we voted for Nikki Haley because she was sort of a protest vote for us. And so will you vote for Donald Trump if he's the nominee? No, we won't.
This never Trumper demographic, this really gives me so much confidence going forward, because the amount of Democratic voters that are, let's say, never Biden, like, he did such a great job that number's got to be so small compared to the number of never Trumpers, and that might be one of the keys.
No, I mean, so there are people in Michigan. We were going to talk to them today, and I still want to talk to you today, who are voting in the primary, in the Democratic primary in Michigan. Okay, Michigan is the next state up in the primary system. I guess that's how we have to refer to it on the primary calendar to make it sound less contrived. But Michigan is next. And there are people in Michigan, Palestinian immigrants, Palestinian families, second generation, first generation, Americans, second generation Americans of Palestinian descent. And they are going to also register a protest vote. They are protesting in the Democratic primary. And while there's really no one else to vote for in the Democratic primary, they're going to vote for a box that does appear on the Michigan Democratic primary ballot, that reads not committed, uncommitted, not committed. And they're doing it to wage a protest against what not our president, no, not our government, not our military is doing. They're doing it to register a protest against Benjamin Netanyahu's military, Benjamin Netanyahu's foreign policy, Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing lunatic fringiness is doing in Gaza. Okay, and so I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I honestly don't. I have always said this, and I live by it. So this is the time. This is the time to do it. I've always said the primary is it's a series of contests in which we all get to fall in love, or in this case, wage a protest vote. Never thought of that, but that's what this period of time is. That's what the primaries, early primaries, are for. To fall in love with a candidate, vote for your candidate. Even if you think your candidate isn't viable in a general, even if you think your candidate isn't going to be the nominee of the party, you still get to go in there and pound on that snack tray and say, I'm for this person, and I know this person will never win, but damn it, I like their policy. I wish they could. I'm going to give them my vote. Then in the general, you have to fall in line. In the primary, you fall in love. In the general, you fall in line. I've always believed that. And so for Michiganders who want to wage a protest vote against Joe Biden, I don't know why Joe Biden. I mean, Donald Trump is the Muslim ban guy, but okay. I get that they want to send a message to the current president of the United States that they would like to see the president of the United States call for a total ceasefire. Not that it would actually work. I don't know if they think it would. I'm not sure. And that's why I said I wanted to talk to them. But the idea that there is a protest vote in Michigan and that they're trying to send a message, I'm all for it. I am. I'm all for it. I think you should do it.
The road to the White House runs through Michigan. You don't win without Michigan.
But some Democrats are using Tuesday's primary to put President Joe Biden on notice.
A warning to Biden and his administration that they need to hear our calls and heed our demands and respond to what it is that we're asking for, which is an immediate and a permanent ceasefire.
Using their ballots to protest the president's handling of the war in Gaza by voting uncommitted in the Democratic primary.
It's a humanitarian vote. It's a protest vote.
The Grassroots Listen to Michigan campaign,
Vote Uncommitted,
launched by members of the state's large Arab American community just 3 weeks ago, has expanded to count progressives and young voters among its supporters, like Pontiac City Councilman Mikael Goodman.
Because we are often told many times that the power that we have as citizens in the U.S. is through the power of the ballot.
Yeah.
And this is us using that power. No one who is voting uncommitted wants Trump. They want what is happening in Gaza to stop.
More than 30 state and local elected officials endorsed the campaign, as did Rashida Tlaib, the first Palestinian-American woman to serve in Congress.
If you want us to be louder, then come here and vote uncommitted.
Now, organizers say for most, today's message is about the primary, but there's a lingering warning.
You need to call for a ceasefire because it will save lives and because it's the necessary thing to do politically. Otherwise, you, President Biden, will be handing the White House to Donald Trump.
What?
The Biden campaign has acknowledged Michigan's importance in this election. But allies of the president aren't quite sounding alarms over the uncommitted primary strategy yet.
I'm hoping and expecting that these folks will come vote for Joe Biden in November. But right now, they have an issue they want to brought attention to, and it's working. That's why we have an early presidential primary.
I agree with her. I do. I agree with her. I don't agree with the guy that goes, if for some reason Netanyahu doesn't engage in a complete and total ceasefire in Gaza, he is a right-wing lunatic Likud party. He's the Donald Trump of the Middle East. And how you think that Joe Biden is responsible for Netanyahu's bad behavior in the West Bank and, of course, in Gaza? I don't know. But, okay, if you wanted to tell Biden that you would like to see him speak up more forcefully about a permanent ceasefire, and this is the way you want to send that message, I'm all for that. That's legit. I think that's a really good idea, actually, because we are always told that our voice is our ballot, and that's when you speak up. And the primary is a perfect time. But to say that Biden will throw the election to Trump if Biden can't stop Netanyahu is, I don't know. I think that's a little nuts. This is not our country doing this. It's Netanyahu's country doing this. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.